Last weekend's violent crime wave in Chicago left 12 people dead and 70 shot. The city's top cop is calling out the justice system and blaming the courts for skyrocketing crime rates.
We are arresting the violent offenders. The courts are releasing these people back into the community. That over 90 people charged with murder have been released. That should be a headline in this city, and it's not. So be adversarial to the courts. Ask what the courts can do different. Rather than release violent people back to these communities to create an environment of lawlessness.
It's sad that common sense is seen as refreshing. Meanwhile, a former Democratic senator from California becoming the latest victim of the nationwide spike in violent crime, Barbara Boxer, revealing she was attacked in broad daylight.
I tried to cross the street and get away, and he slammed me on the back and reached across me. He was behind me and grabbed my cell phone out of my hand. And I just said, "How can you do this to a grandmother? I want to call my grandkids. Why are you doing this?" He could care less and got in the car and they sped away.
That's what's the old line, a conservative is a liberal mugged by reality, something like that. Geraldo, in Chicago alone, 90 accused killers have been let go by the courts. Is it possible to do like a class action suit of victims' families against the city? Because it seems like politicians are only scared of lawyers.
Well, I think it's an excellent idea. I think that it's impractical. First of all, Superintendent Brown's a great guy, but he is transferring all the responsibility to the courts and the prosecutors, and the police department, which is woefully undermanned, I think really has to step up. What you have there is the blood flowing in the streets. I mean, it's just there's 12 dead this weekend. There were 12 last weekend, 17 the weekend before that. You know, it's so much bigger than the 90 murderers who are released, although that is certainly part of the problem. You have a situation here where we are losing an entire generation of young black men, and nobody cares about it unless there's a white cop involved. It is horrific what's happening. This is the civil rights issue of our time. There's a ghetto civil war going on. Everybody's got guns. They're dealing the drugs. They're fighting over turf, and they're firing into crowds willy-nilly. As if that was a sign of macho. You shoot up a barbecue and you kill a 6-year-old. I think that the fact that this is not the front page story, coast to coast, it really, to me, it fills me with dismay.
I agree. I mean, we say that gun violence is a national problem, but policing is local. You can't have it both ways. To Geraldo's point, Dagan, it's a different kind of crime going on. So you see Barbara Boxer, she's 80. Not that there's honor among muggers and thieves and junkies, but generally they don't really go beat the crap out of old ladies. Now that's every day.
It is every day, and if you read the story after story, just whether it's in New York or San Francisco, that these perps have long rap sheets, and it's very clear, if you just read the newspaper, that they should have been thrown in jail years ago and stayed there. But because of this revolving door, whether it's from bail reform, whether it is left-wing liberal prosecutors, they are not kept in jail. If anybody's picked up here in New York just for simple assault, they're right back out on the street immediately. And this is it's a unique kind of evil and cowardice, attacking elderly people. But just really quickly, I want to point out one, I've mentioned this on the show before, but there were 2 elderly Asian women who were stabbed in San Francisco by a man named Patrick Thompson. And the knife was as long as the arm of one of these elderly Asian women. And the handle broke off, and the serrated knife was stuck inside of her. Where did he come from? He had a background including assault with a deadly weapon. And he actually was supposed to be in jail for life. And he was released on a mental health diversion.
There you go.
And now he is being prosecuted. But these people are everywhere, and nobody cares about the victims.
Yeah.
They just don't give a damn.
But thank God we got that guy in the Viking hat.
Right.
You know, Jesse, do you think CNN and the Democrats would pay more attention if we pointed out that the criminals are probably not vaccinated?
Speaking of not vaccinated, Geraldo, I just have to fact check you on the last segment. 900% increase in COVID cases in the Rio Grande Valley sector. And in terms of testing, 8% positivity rate in the detainment facilities. Now, New York City closed down at 3%. This is 8%. So you were wrong. I'll expect an apology in the commercial break. Kim Foxx is the villain in Chicago. She is the DA. She has 700 lawyers under her tutelage. And she ran on this anti-cop de-incarcerate platform, and now it's working out. She doesn't sentence people. Pre-trial sentencing doesn't happen. No bail. Everybody gets out. Soros funded Gutfeld, $2 million to her super PAC from George Soros. So people, you ask, why? Well, they voted for her. They voted for her. So at a certain point, you have to say, Chicago, I feel sorry for you, but you're putting people in office that are raising body counts. Police departments and district attorneys are supposed to work together. But if Soros keeps funding these radical DAs that won't work with police departments to keep people behind bars, you're going to see more Chicagos.
Yeah, it's funny. If you think about it, if the mayor of Chicago was an old white dude, wouldn't you be kind of suspect of whether or not he really cares about black people? That's what they would think, given the amount of casualties. These are black and brown bodies.
So this issue on the prosecutors doesn't get as much attention as the police issue, but it should, because now, okay, they won't listen to us.
Right, of course.
Won't listen to us, but will they listen to the police chief? Because it's not just the one in Chicago, it's the one in D.C. as well.
Right.
And in St. Louis, and in Los Angeles. So you have all of that. The 1994 Republican wave was partly about crime and many other things as well, but that wasn't just in Congress. That was all across the country. So for local governments and state governments. So to your point, if you're electing these types of people, this is the kind of results you're going to get. But there could be an even bigger wave happening in 2022.
All right. Ahead.
Brief rebuttal. Under Title 42, people who are infected with the coronavirus are turned back at the border.
They got rid of Title 42, Geraldo.
No, not yet.
They got rid of it.
Not yet.
They're not even testing.
Not yet.
Get
Not
out
yet.
of here.
Not yet.
All right.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.